Let's talk about 4A because at the beginning of the season, you said Huntington North would be playing for a regional title. Somebody would have told you were crazy.
Yes.
They came off a one-win season
Right.
in Mike Eschbach's first year, and all they've done is turn things around. They go to Lebanon last week, win in overtime on a field goal. You got to feel good for this team who's won their first sectional title since 1993.
Yeah.
Now they head to Kendallville. It's our highlight zone game of the week for a 4A regional championship. 28-16 in week 3. East Noble won that. What is different about these teams this time around? If anything, I would think that the Vikings are more confident going in based off the resume that they've gotten at this point of the season.
Definitely more confident. I mean, you look at their 3 losses. Their 3 losses are to East Noble, Leo, and Columbia City, the big trifecta in the Northeast 8. And I don't think we appreciated maybe how close that game was the first time around, particularly when we've seen what East Noble has done to other foes, lately Bishop DeWanger. And so both of these teams are riding highs. Obviously, Huntington North, first sectional title in 31 years, and then conversely, East Noble handing Bishop DeWanger their worst playoff loss ever. So now East Noble needs to go back home. We know how crazy it'll be in Kendallville for that game. Huntington North right now just feels like they're playing with house money. They've went from 1 win to 9 wins in the course of a season, capturing a sectional championship. It almost feels like everything else is icing on the cake. And if that's the case, you still feel pretty good if you're Huntington North. But what can you take from that first game that you can translate into that second game? Similar to kind of what Warsaw did against Concord, right? 17-point halftime lead in the regular season, let it get away. What did they need to do to change it? And they did. Can Huntington North take that same approach against East Noble?
Yeah, the most dangerous teams are the teams
with nothing to lose,
with
right?
nothing to lose. And the Vikings, it's all gravy at this point, as you mentioned. For East Noble, I think maybe we've always said, they're a nice team. They don't have superstars.
Right.
Maybe we've really undersold this team because they are more than just a nice team. They're more than just well-coached and fundamentally sound and really good high school football players. Like, I look at this team and I'm like, ooh, I'd like to see this team against the team that made it to state a few years ago in 4A, because while they had a few bigger stars on that team a few years ago that made it to state with Luke Amstutz, I really like how solid these guys are in every facet of the game. And like I said, I think we may have sold them short. They're more than just a really nice high school football team.
We always remember the dominant teams over the course of a season that win state championships, but there's a heck of a lot of really good, fundamentally sound, solid teams that have won state championships as well that maybe we don't remember because we think about the dominant squads. And East Noble is kind of like that, and they've slowly proven it to us over the course of the season that, hey, they can be that team not just in the NE8 but in the 4A North. And what they did last week against Bishop DeWanger was really evidence of what they can be. And you look at the matchup now against a team they previously beat once before, and you look at it and now all of a sudden you got to think East Noble is heavily favored to get to a semi-state. And who would have thought that at the beginning of the season? You just look at that team, and Biddle's a really good player, and Krell's a really good player, and Logan Hatton's a really good player, but they lack that star power. There's no Andrew McCormick on this team like there was when they went to state. So
that was with Bailey Parker.
With Bailey Parker, but even Bailey Parker when he did it, he was really good and stuff, and a really good two-way guy. But this team is just continue to get better. And the big question mark at the beginning of the year too was Alex Stewart coming from Western, and what can he do with this team? And it's really been seamless. And Luke Amstutz still being around really helps, but this is definitely Alex Stewart's team, and what it's done has been nothing short of impressive.
To me, for Huntington North, so last week they go to Lebanon, and you would say, this is a pass-first offense with Mike Eschbach, although they can't run the football. Tony Decker goes 5-19. You say, man, they lose that game.
Right.
But they don't, because they hit, James Linker on a couple of big plays, and they're going to have to be more efficient in the pass game against East Noble this week. But if you go 5-19 at Huntington North, I would say you lose that, but they pull it out.
They pull it out.
You have to love that on the road, and they managed to do that.
And we haven't given Tony Decker, he's the first team All-NE8 guy.
Yeah.
That came out today. And we talked so much about Riley Biddle, and for good reason, and other quarterbacks, and Brad Berry and Esguerra, but Tony Decker was voted by the coaches first team All-NE8. So what he's been able to do to run this offense, he doesn't have to be a guy that throws for 200 yards every game, but it is very advantageous when he's able to connect on some big plays. and he runs that offense, does very well, knows when to pull it, when to run. He's really thrived in that spread style that Eschbach has adopted, and he's a dude that has been very much under the radar for most of the season, but not anymore.
Not anymore.
No,
Not
sir.
anymore, Tony
No,
Decker.
sir.
We give you your flowers.